What's up, everybody? I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and today I'm going to be taking you to visit with my friend, John Arena. He has been making pizzas for over 60 years, and he's one of the best in the world. Let's go check him out. Oh, hey, John.
Thomas.
How are we doing?
Great to see you. I always enjoy your visits.
So take a look around the place. Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so we definitely designed it with a lot of different functions in mind.
Yeah.
So our idea was to build a place that was really flexible. So like if a party of 30 walks in here right now,
Yeah.
we can put that party together in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, keep the takeout area separated from the dining. Yeah.
That's so good.
You know, when we designed this, we wanted to bring in some of the features of where we lived in New York. You know.
Yeah.
So this hex tile is classic tenement tile.
Yeah.
My family had this tile in their apartment.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
When you look at it, it does look like a shop out of New York from the front there.
And that was the idea. So even if you've never been here before,
Yeah.
you feel like you've been coming here your whole life because you've seen these combinations of colors and textures
Yeah.
and features. It's a pretty simple kitchen. Pizza makers are here. 4 stone deck ovens that never get turned off.
Never get turned off.
Never get turned off, never get turned down.
So they run all night long?
2 weeks before we open, we set them at 550.
Yeah.
We never turn them off again
Why is that?
because it keeps the stone saturated with heat.
Okay.
The stone in that oven is like this thick.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
So we don't want to risk not having the ovens be completely heated.
Yeah,
You can get the oven up to the temperature that we need it, but can you get the stone up to the temperature we need it?
that's right. So you think of everything.
Pizza kitchen, a small cook line. So come on back here. So the walk-in is actually servicing, if you think about it, practically servicing 2 kitchens. Pizza on that side, entrees, salads on this side. So when we come back here,
You got a lot of space back here. This is nice.
and the guys that have only worked here don't realize the conditions that people work in other places where the
Yeah, really
Slammed
cramped,
together.
and you have to make work what you have. Whoa, all the way through it goes.
Yeah, so beer cooler over here.
Yeah.
All the salad and entree stuff goes over here. Produce in the middle. All the pizza stuff over here. So the
Nice.
kitchen guys can enter from that side, and the pizza guys can enter from this side.
This is where all the dough gets made, right? Wow, oh my gosh, look at this. Wow.
So dough making, bread baking, proofing, all happens.
So these are all proofers?
That's a proofer, a bread proofer.
Okay.
My pizza dough is proofed at cold temperature.
Okay.
I do very long extended fermentation.
How many day fermentation do you do?
3 to 6, depending on what the use is.
Why do you do such a long fermentation?
Develop flavors, develop texture,
Yeah.
keep the process slowed down and wait for good stuff to happen. That's a rotating rack oven. We use that for like brioche, sandwich breads,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. This is a 5-deck stone hearth artisan bread oven
Yeah.
with steam.
So that's the steam getting injected in the oven?
Right.
Wow, I can hear that.
So for some breads, when you put the breads in, you hit it with some steam right at the beginning to make it
Right.
really oven spring.
Wow, everything's really well thought out.
Right this way.
Another walk-in. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Primarily, this is our dough fridge.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of other stuff in here for the breakfast bakery.
It's so nice to have so much space.
Yeah, it's a real luxury.
Yeah, you're really lucky.
You know, I grew up in New York where you had no room for everything. You were right on top of each other.
So John, how big is this mixer? I've never seen one so big.
This is a 5-bag mixer.
5-bag mixer,
So
okay.
it'll hold 250 pounds of flour. So it'll be like a 450-pound bag.
That is crazy. How many of them do you do a week?
We do dough every day.
You go every day.
We might do between 5 and 10 bags per day, depending on which day it is.
Okay.
So if we're getting ready for that.
That's a lot of dough.
Science and a lot of love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't make bread with your dad sometimes?
Always.
Always?
Once a week.
Once a
I'll
week?
show you
Okay.
I got my little baby mixer, my small batch mixer. This is my little experimental mixer. So I want to do a small batch when I'm playing around with different formulas. I get to come back here. So every Monday, me and my dad come here and we
Wow.
play around with something, whether
That's
we're making
so nice.
bagels or focaccia or some other new recipe. If we've got new flour that we want to play with. Like when we worked on the Americano flour, I did that all in here. They would
Okay.
send me samples from Italy, and I would play around with it. And then Tony and I would compare notes with Giulio and see if, invariably, we ended up always doing the same things.
Yeah. So how was that, being able to share the same passion as your dad? You guys have a passion for pizza, you have a passion for bread making.
Yeah,
How's that?
It's amazing. I've worked with my dad since I was 7 years old.
Since you're 7.
So 63 years. Every day I get up and work. How lucky am I?
Yeah, that is so lucky.
You can't replace that.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything better than that. That's truly special.
He's keeping me motivated.
Keeping you motivated. Nice, I love that. Okay, you want to go make a pizza?
Yeah, let's go. So the pizza we're going to make today is probably the pizza that we're most known for. It's a 5-day rise Sicilian pizza. We call it a 5-day rise Sicilian pizza. It's actually more than 5 days. It's 5 days cold fermentation initially. Then we take that dough out of the refrigerator for 8 hours without touching it.
Okay.
Because when we take it out of the tray to put it in the pan, we don't want to have to muscle it to get it into the pan. So a lot of people will do this pizza and they're stretching it. We want to be able to maneuver this pizza in the pan with a minimal amount of stress. So we're always mindful of what our hands and our technique are doing to the finished product. We don't want to degas the dough. We want to move it in a way that maintains the gas that we've built up over those 5 days. So we have 5-day fermentation, and we take it out for 8 hours before we even touch it. Then we press it into the pan, we cover it, and we leave it in the pan for 16 hours more.
Wow, okay.
So
so
now we're at 6 days.
6 days, yeah.
Then we par bake it until it sets, which means you have to get the interior of the pizza to a temperature of 205 degrees.
Okay.
We cool it down, we wrap it, we freeze it overnight, which crystallizes it a little bit.
Yeah.
We unwrap it, and then we're ready to make this pizza.
Wow, what a process. What does it do to the flavor profile when you allow it to sit for so long?
It's going to be much more complex, but the structure is still going to be strong because it's cold fermentation and by proper use of ingredients and proper amount of hydration. Like you couldn't do, this is a 62% hydration dough.
62.
You couldn't do this with an 80% or 90% hydration dough. It wouldn't hold up for 8 days or 6 days or 5 days or whatever we're doing for the particular application. And we're always mindful of, like, it doesn't go in a proofer. It doesn't go on top of the oven, which you see a lot of guys do because they're trying to accelerate it. That also weakens it. What we want it to do, it takes us 5 days to get it to the flavor that we want it to. So we're taking that 5 days, but we have to make sure that we do it under conditions where it's not going to collapse on itself.
Okay.
So we can't let it run away. We have to always be in control of it. Things go wrong. If you were saying earlier that the room was nice and cool.
Yes.
If the room was hot, this thing would go crazy. Instead of 5 days, it would be a couple of hours.
Right. Okay. That much of a difference.
Yeah, like a 10-degree difference.
Yeah.
Will cut the fermentation time in half. Thinking about every little detail and what it's going to do to the finished product. Because if you adjust one, you have to adjust another.
Yeah.
You can't change one thing without compensating for it in some other area. Because everything, it's like all these building blocks that are dependent on each other.
So how long have you been making pizzas? You've had all this time to build all this knowledge and experiment with things.
I started working in my family pizzeria when I was 6 years.
6 years old.
But that was just like sweeping the floor, and they used to let me scoop the Italian ices. I started making pizzas on September 7th, 1967. So I'm coming up on, because my birthday is September 6th.
Yeah.
The day after my birthday, I was 13.
Yeah.
My dad and my uncle said, okay, you're 13 years old now, you've got to start making pizzas. And the first pizza that I made got sold.
That's got to be so incredible.
First pizza that I made got put in a box and sold.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing.
So that was probably the moment you realized, hey, you're hooked. Oh, that's so amazing. You're a pizza guy. Yeah. Tell me about your shirt. What's the motto on your shirt?
The motto is, I'm a pizza maker and that's enough.
Yeah. In Italian, right?
In Italian.
Yeah. And what does that mean to you?
What it means that there's honor in what we do. It's important. It makes people happy. And that's all you need. You don't need a title. You don't need a trophy. People don't have to chef you to death.
Yeah.
Just be a pizza maker, man. Make people happy with your food.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget what an impact we have on people's lives and how they come to us to celebrate, and also in times when they need comfort. And it's our responsibility to honor that and live up to it. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, the first thing we're gonna do, we're always gonna use a black steel pan because we don't want the heat to be reflecting and bouncing off. We want the pan to absorb the heat.
Again, another thing you've thought through. Is this olive oil?
This is Corto olive oil. And I'm gonna be pretty generous with this because I want the pizza to almost be frying in oil when it's in the pan.
What does that do to the bottom of the pizza?
It's gonna make it crispy and it's gonna make it lighter. Because when we bite into that pizza, I want all these different textural components going on. I don't want to just be, Chris and I started working on this because we'd go places where they were doing Sicilian pizza in different parts of the country, and most of them just weren't that good. They were just spongy and one-dimensional. They would do a one-day rise dough and they push it in the pan, throw it up on the oven to get it to pop up a little bit.
Yeah.
And they just weren't fun. They weren't interesting. They were just taking the easy way out. And we started thinking about what are the things we love about a great focaccia? Like Laura's focaccia is amazing, right? Yeah. But it's got so much stuff going on. There's layers of textures and layers of flavors when you bite into it. It's so exciting, it shows so much skill. And we're like, why can't we do that with our Sicilians? How far can we push this to the outer edge of the envelope to coax out the textures, the flavors, the fragrances, the structure? It's like an artisan bread baker. How do you get the most out of that wheat? How do you honor the wheat? It took a lot of people had to work really hard to get this pizza.
How long did it take to get you to where you're happy with it?
I never said I was happy.
Okay, well, a lot of people are happy with it.
That's for other people to say. For me,
so
it's a never-ending quest. I think when you get happy with it, you gave up. Okay. When you get bored with it, you better not be looking at what you're doing. You should be looking at yourself. Why are you bored? Are you so great that you have nothing else to learn?
Right.
Have you made this the best it can possibly be? So, to me, a person that's bored has given up.
But that's why I love our business, because every day we can learn something new and we can never stop learning.
Yeah, look at how many great people there are. Not just the old-time guys like me, but there's great people out there that are new to the business, that are relatively young, that came from other disciplines and then brought their skill sets with them. Yeah. And are incorporating their skill sets, whether it's a person might have been in the entertainment business and they know a lot about lighting, or they know or sound, or other things that they bring into their pizzeria. So the pizzeria becomes a reflection of who they are. It becomes a reflection of what they value and what's important to them. And they tell the world that story through their food and through their place.
Yeah. So would you say that that's the secret ingredient to a good pizza?
For me, I don't get involved in this is the best or that's the best. Yeah. I'm more interested in how does it tell the story? How does this tell the story of the place that it's being made and the person that's making it? That's what matters to me. That's what makes it really interesting. So in that regard, there's no bad pizza styles. There's no best pizza style. It's all a matter of what are you trying to accomplish? Yeah. Did you reach your objective? There's that, and there's also being completely immersed. Thomas, that pizza people are the most immersed, obsessive, crazy, dedicated, right? When you go on a vacation, what's the first thing you do? You research where the good pizzeria is, where the great restaurants. Where can I learn something? Yeah. Where can I expand my world? Right. And then it becomes a matter of how can I bring some of that back to my guests, to my team? How can I inspire people to be a little bit better? What's the one extra step that I can take that will separate me and make it outstanding? Right. And then once you do that, there's the next step and the next step and the next step and on and on. You're never satisfied. Yeah. You watch Tony Gemignani in his place, greatest pizza maker this country has ever produced. Yeah. Watch him in his restaurant and look at what he's looking at. He's watching everything. He's watching everybody's move. Right. Making sure everyone likes the pizza. Right. And if it looks like you had to chew it too hard, I wouldn't say he freaks out, but he's concerned. Yeah. Yeah. In a healthy way. Yeah. Usually. You know, but do you know anybody that was ever good at anything that wasn't obsessed? That wasn't like that? That was just going through the motions? You don't become accidentally great. I don't care how much talent you have. You have to be working at it all the time.
Would you say this is one of your favorite pizza styles to make?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How many different pizza styles do you do here at Metro?
Here we do 3 basic styles. You know, we're not doing like what Tony does, where we've got 7 masterpieces, but we do 3. I'm not exactly where I want to be with any of them yet.
Love that.
And I probably never will be. But that's okay too. I always use sliced mozzarella for this because I'm thinking about the textures.
Yeah.
And how they melt.
Sauce on the bottom and then
more sauce on top, but I'm always gonna make sure before I go into this sauce, every time I give it a little stir.
These are the pizzas we've made in the Bronx and when I come to Vegas and what we just did in San Francisco, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. How cool was it at that Bronx Pizza Festival?
I love that pizza festival, it was
great. That was
great.
so much fun.
So much, it was really fantastic. You know, to be in the heart of a 150-year-old Little Italy in New York, making pizzas in the street.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that. And all our friends were there.
Yeah.
You know,
that was really special.
Yeah.
So how do you bring out your New York roots into your pizza making?
Well, I think everything I do is informed by my origins, informed by my family, informed by my heritage. You know, that's the thing. You want to be always be receptive, so that you're absorbing lessons all the time by single-minded determination and paying attention to what you're doing and being engrossed in what you're doing. You can't help but put that in there.
Right.
You know? So my pizza is basically the sum total of everything that I've experienced right up until this point, including this conversation.
Yeah.
And the next one's got to be different because the next one I'll be a different person because I just had this conversation. You know, so to me, the goal is to always be growing, always be learning, and always be bringing your life experiences into what you do. So that it's a representation of who you are right now at any given moment. So it's got to be different. Tomorrow, you're going to be a different person. You're going to go back to your kitchen tomorrow after having spent time with all these other pizza makers the last couple of weeks. You can't help but bring that out.
I already got lots of new ideas I'm thinking about. So.
Even if you're not consciously incorporating ideas, you're definitely affected by it.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be times when I'm working and I'll do something and I realize that I just made a motion that my Uncle Tony made 40 years ago, or my Uncle Rocky made 50 years ago, that I saw him do. And by doing that, by unconsciously absorbing those lessons from anybody, whoever your teachers were in life and in your profession, you keep them alive. You honor them and you keep them alive. And somebody will see something, they won't know where I got it from. They won't know that they got it from me, but it'll be there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this pizza guy's version of immortality. Legacy more than currency.
And you share your knowledge all over the place, right?
I've done a lot of teaching over the years. I teach at Pizza University, which is in Maryland. A couple of times a year with Giulio Adriani, Jonathan Goldsmith, Scott Wiener, 3 of us together, and we do a class called Start Smart, which is for aspiring pizza makers or people that just opened a pizzeria and are trying to get better at what they're doing. I teach individual classes, different professional groups, equipment manufacturers, chefs that are getting into pizza, public classes for home pizza makers who are really getting sophisticated now. And I taught a university class for about 10 years. First 3-credit pizza-centric course in the university in the United States. It's part of the culinary program at UNLV.
And you've had students from all over the world, right? What are some places that the students have come from?
I've had a lot of students from China, Korea, Japan, a couple of people in Canada that I've worked with.
Have you gone and seen what they've done with their pizzerias?
Some of them, yeah.
Isn't that cool that you've been able to?
It's the best. When they're your student for life.
Yeah. And
to see them thrive and prosper is amazing.
Okay, so where are we at now?
You're gonna grab some pepperoni and help me out here. We know we're gonna get this kind of overlapping, close to the edge.
Let me tell you, when there's 10 of these in an oven cooking at one time in the festivals, it gets pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot in front of those ovens.
Yeah, but we're cooks. you could pretty much expect that, right? Now, I know that this pepperoni it's cup and char, so it's going to curl up. It's designed to cup and char, so you have those different textures when you bite into it, and different flavors, because some of it's going to be dark, some of it's going to be light, just like our pizza dough. I don't want it to look like Wonder Bread. I want the char on there. I don't want it to be completely uniform. People always say consistency, it has to be consistent, but there's different kinds of consistency. I want it to be consistently inconsistent. And besides that, I don't want it to look like it was made by a machine. I want to see the touch of my own hand on the pizza. I want my pizza to have some personality. I'm not afraid of those dark spots and light spots. I welcome them. I want them to be there. I want it to be that every bite tastes different than the bite that you had before as you eat through it. Okay, let's carry this over to the oven.
Got it?
No, you got it.
Okay.
Which corner? We're not going to go in the corner. We're going to go right in the middle. Yeah, since we're not putting anything in this oven, we're going to go right in the middle.
How many locations do you guys have?
Of the Metro pizzas, I have 5 that I operate. Okay. And then 2 that are licensed. The one in the airport and the one in the convention center are licensed out. And then Truly, which is where Chris is.
Yeah. So how's it been watching him go to Truly and come out of his shell?
It's amazing. You know, I mean, it's a long time coming. You know, Chris, he deserves that recognition. And
he does.
You know, everybody that's involved in Truly is amazing. Michael and Sergio and Donna, of course.
You guys have a really great team. And it really shows in the product, it shows in the building. We were just there and it is absolutely stunning. What was going through your head when you realized that Chris was going to be leaving Vegas?
That was a tough one.
That was tough, hey?
We had to make the right decision, right? You have to do the right things. It's like, you know, it's like sending your kids off to college.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a kid that you know can be like a Nobel Prize winner, you want him to get off to graduate school, right?
So what was different in Chris that you instilled your time in him? What did you notice about him that stood out?
The biggest things, well, loyalty, determination, culinary talent, integrity. He's a guy that doesn't count the hours. You know, he's just like, what do I need to do to make it right? What do I need to do to make good stuff happen? You know, he's not thinking about fame or fortune. He's thinking about, how do I make this the best that it can possibly be?
I think that's what sets you and him apart from everyone else. How long does a pizza cook for, John?
This pizza will cook, depending on the condition of the oven, how much it's been open, usually about 12 minutes.
Okay.
My dream pizzeria would be just doing this, one at a time, for one person, with the person standing there next to me, so I could talk about it.
And you can create that bond and that relationship with those people.
What do you really want? You want people to think about the food that they eat. You want them to be responsible consumers, you know, not just shoveling food into their gaping maw, you know. You want, so if you can just get them to think about it, if you can get them to think about everything that went into getting that pizza to where it is right now. That pizza that gets to your plate or comes to your house. Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about all of the lives that had to touch it to make it what it is? If you do, then you'll be grateful for it and you'll appreciate it more. You won't have to numb yourself or anesthetize yourself with too much quantity or too much anything. You know, you can just appreciate what's there for what it is.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look. So what are we doing now to the pizza?
So now we're decking the pizza. We're taking it out of the pan. We're putting it right onto the stone to get the final sear. And you'll see so many times, like if you're judging competition, if people would have just taken that pizza and put it on the stones, put it on a hot spot, because right now it's sitting on a spot that's had a pizza on it for 12 minutes in a pan. That spot is cold. I want to get that little extra dimension of crunch.
Yeah.
So I check it.
Yeah.
I use my sense of touch. I'm listening to it. You can hear that little crackle. So I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about what it smells like right now, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. And of course, if you do all those things, it'll taste good too.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
I'm always going to put it on a cooling rack, never directly on the flat plate.
Okay, and why is that?
I want some of that steam to dissipate a little bit so that, so it
Wow.
won't be soggy.
Look at that.
I'm thinking about all of the different textures, how the dark spots are going to taste different than the light spots, and how the bottom is going to taste different than the top, and how the center is going to be completely different, taste different, feel different. Even though it seems like a relatively simple thing, it's cheese and pepperoni and dough, and sauce. There's 4 ingredients. But what you do with those 4 ingredients can bring you all kinds of other subtle variances and keep it interesting.
I can smell that cheese.
Yep. Yeah, you can. So that's another property that we're looking for. We want that smell when it gets to the table. That's why we put it on right at the end.
It smells so good. Can't wait to try some.
And now we listen.
Some fresh basil. Wow, thank you, John. What an honor to make a pizza with you. You want to try a slice?
Heck yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Eat it like a pro. Bite the edge first.
Bite the edge first, okay. Cheers. Wow. Look at that crumb there. Wow. That is so good, John. So John, where does the name Metro Pizza come from?
The idea behind Metro was when we first moved out to Las Vegas, we were Brooklyn-born pizza makers.
Yeah.
And like all Brooklyn-born pizza makers, the sun rises and sets on Brooklyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got out here and we realized that, especially Las Vegas had a lot of people from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So there were people from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis. There were people here from everywhere. And every one of those places had their own opinion of what a pizza was supposed to be, their own attachment to their neighborhood pizzeria. We realized early on that that's not an argument that you can win. I can't talk you out of having been in love with your first pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of doing that, why not honor it? Why not say, they're all good. What can we learn from all of them? What can we absorb? How can we spread the gospel of all those pizzerias? So we bought a place that was called the Original New York Pizza, and we changed it to Metro Pizza within a couple of years because we wanted to represent all the great metropolitan cities of America that had pizza-centric cultures.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be limited as to what we could do or what would we, what happens when New Yorkers come into your place? That's not New York pizza.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not New York pizza. It's my pizza. The summation of all of the metropolitan areas that I've been to, and everything that I've absorbed. I'm not trying to recreate something else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be informed. I honor those places by honoring their influence, not by trying to do an imitation of the pizza that you get on 86th Street or wherever, because that pizza can only be had there.
So how did you end up in Vegas?
We found an existing pizzeria. There was an existing pizzeria in Las Vegas owned by a guy from New York that had moved out here, and he really hated Las Vegas.
Okay.
His wife hated Las Vegas, couldn't stand being here. And he wanted to sell it, but he didn't have the personality to want to train anybody. So he put the place up for sale and only advertised in an Italian language newspaper in New York. He figured he would get an experienced pizza maker that wanted to move to Las Vegas. One of my uncles saw the ad in the newspaper and cut it out. And one day when we were talking about how we wanted to move, we were kids, my cousin and I, we were kids.
How old were you guys?
Right out of college.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
A couple of months away from graduation. And he cut the ad out and he threw it down on the table and said, "You're going to do it or you're going to talk about it?" We called the guy and he still had the place for sale and he wanted to get rid of it and he was willing to hold a note. We didn't have any money, so it had to be that kind of deal.
Yeah.
We gave him a down payment. We paid him every month for 5 years. Off to the races. But when you're young, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can, you just look at it like, so what's the most I could lose? I lose my down payment, I go crying home to mommy and daddy to save me. We got lucky. It didn't. That was part of it too. And we had moved to Las Vegas at a time when the town was really starting to grow. There were a lot of people that were coming here from other places. There was a lot of opportunity. It was still small enough, so even though there was no social media or any of that stuff, the social media was that you saw everybody that you knew every day in the grocery store and in the casinos or in a shopping mall or whatever. So there was this real kind of grapevine of information. So we were busy from like day two.
That's so awesome. So you mentioned a lot of people would come from out of town. That there would also be a lot of entertainers and musicians that would come into town. Who would be one of the most memorable artists or musicians that you made pizza for?
The most memorable was we used to make this pizza minus the pepperoni for Frank Sinatra.
For Frank Sinatra?
Yeah. Even when it wasn't always on our menu,
yeah,
but we would make it for him.
So you got to make pizza for Frank Sinatra?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I just feel the same attachment to everybody that comes into my places. You've met Donna, our partner.
Yeah.
Donna worked for me when she was between junior and senior year in high school.
And now you guys have a pizzeria together.
You build those relationships, and those are the ones that you really value. It's nice to make pizza for presidents and stuff like that. We've done that too.
The president?
We've made pizzas for 5 presidents.
Who was the nicest guy?
Nicest guy was Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. No matter what you want to think of him as a president,
yeah,
he was a super nice guy. In fact, when he came in, he made it a point to he went in the kitchen and said hello to everybody in the kitchen and shook their hands and thanked them. And he went to every table and introduced himself.
You've always had such a positive attitude towards how pizza belongs to everyone. How has that affected your life living by that motto?
I like to feel that it's a shared communal experience. The creation of the pizza, the eating of the pizza, everything that goes with it, whatever activities you're involved in while you're enjoying the pizza, it's all part of a community. And it's so much more enjoyable. The enjoyment of that pizza is magnified when you do it with friends and when you have that attitude about making your pizzas as well. What could be better than sharing ideas and sharing that exchange of people from other places, other countries, other continents, exchanging and finding that common bond of caring about the food that you make. Sometimes I think with all of the chef-driven stuff that we do, we forget that we're really in the hospitality business. We're telling the story of our own experiences, our culture, our family, our environment, and that's the part that really counts. That's the part that's really important. Not your secret sauce recipe, or the secret dough recipe that you have that's the same as everybody else's secret dough recipe.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. It's not important. What matters is Did you touch people's hearts with what you did? Did you make a difference in somebody's life? Did you comfort people? Were you a place where hospitality reigned? You know, that's what really, why is a restaurant called a restaurant? Because it's a place that you go to be restored.
Where you go to create memories with your family.
Yeah, it's the restorative power of sharing a meal. Restorative power. I'm restored by cooking for you. Hopefully you're restored by eating my food. That's spiritual nourishment and physical nourishment as well. It can be so much more than just throwing food on a plate and shoveling it out. You should never let that happen. I don't care if it's a cup of coffee. Think about it before you consume it. Think about what it took to get it there. And just enjoy it so much more. And maybe the world will be a little kinder place too.
Are there any moments that you can think back that when you ate a certain kind of food or walked into a certain restaurant, that it brings you right back to your childhood, to those memories you had with your family?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many. It's so many times when you think about something, whether it's a particular fragrance or just walking into an Italian grocery store and seeing the bacala hanging from the rafters. All of those things help you to reconnect with. When I used to go with my grandmother to the grocery store, and my grandmother would never cook a chicken that she hadn't first seen walking.
Okay.
So she had to go to a market where the chickens were alive. And I just remember as a kid thinking about how important that was to her. When she was 75 years old, she was still getting on a bus and going to the market to pick out a chicken to bring it home to cook for us. So how can that not be great when you have somebody that loves what they're doing and also is sending the message that they love you so much that they will get on a bus and go to another town to get the right chicken.
Yeah. How your influence in the pizza industry has helped evolve it over the years. Because you said before, people were very secretive of their recipes and their dough recipes and their sauce recipes and stuff like that. How have you helped contribute to making that?
If I've had a contribution at all, and I'm not saying that I have, but if I did, it would probably be not necessarily culinary ability, but maybe a spirit of exchange and camaraderie. I just think life is so much better when you're with your friends, and when you make everybody a friend. When I meet you, I want you to be my friend. What can I give you that will make your life a little better? What can we do together that'll make other people's lives better? So I think if I have had any influence, it's in promoting that idea, and especially in New York, where the pizzerias were like these closed fraternities or guilds, where nobody wanted to exchange ideas with anybody. And when it started to develop in the early 80s, that some doors started to get opened, and some of the more progressive people started to buy into the idea that, hey, I can go a lot further together than I could ever get by myself. And it's so much more fun. It's so much more enjoyable.
So who do you look up to in the pizza community?
Oh, that's a tough question because there are so many. We could be here all day. Off the top of my head, Jonathan Goldsmith, Laura, Audrey Kelly, Tony, of course. Tony's had the biggest influence on everybody. He's the GOAT for a reason, folks. There's nobody like him. My dad, of course, who I work with every day. Anybody that's that's carved their life out in front of the ovens. I look up to all of them. I admire all of them. I respect all of them.
There's a certain bond you have when you work next to someone on a
it's that fire. You look at their arms, and if they got the right number of stripes, I guess. On their arms. But it's more than that. It's just it's that shared experience. You spend time with another pizza maker, even somebody you've just met, and you know them already because you know what they face. You know the trials that they've had to live through. You know the sacrifices that they've made. And it's that commonality that makes the world a better place. That recognition of the things that bond us together that we have in common, not the things that separate us, not the things that are different. Those are usually inconsequential.
What was it like giving the keynote speech? You just did that at last year's Pizza Expo in Vegas, right?
The keynote was particularly for me. My dad was there, of course, which was great. So I got to talk of an impact he's had. Yeah. I also got to bring together all of the things that make Pizza Expo what it is and what the intentions were of Jerry Durnell when he founded Pizza Expo, because I was there. I talked to him. I spent a lot of time with him. I know what was on his mind. And after 40 years, with the help of a lot of people like Tony, Pete LaChapelle, Bill Oakley, all of those people had worked for years to bring that together. It was nice to be chosen to be able to sum that up and say, hey guys, look how far we've come. Look how much we have to go. And we can all do this together.
If you could get one message across to the pizza industry, what would it be?
If I could give one message to everybody, it would be, don't serve pizza, serve pizza. Let your actions be in service to the pizza, to the industry, to your brothers and sisters who are pizza makers, who are making a living in this business and dedicating their lives to it. Serve that, serve that. I want to give everybody my best every time, whatever my best is. And your personal best changes over time for various reasons, for good and for bad. So for me, the most gratifying thing is seeing how much I can give this time right now. The most gratifying pizza that I've ever made is that one, because I gave you everything I had.
What has been your most rewarding project that you've got to work on?
My most rewarding project is whatever's coming next.